Good evening to all the participants. I welcome you on behalf of Madras Tax Bar. Today is our 124th webinar. Uh, and I thank Meenakshi Sundaram sir for taking up this topic on about the development of intellectual property rights. We all know that intellectual property rights is one of the main areas in today's legal field, I would particularly say. And there are so many issues cropping up in this particular field of law. So I'm sorry, today is our 123rd webinar. Uh, uh, I once again thank Meenakshi Sundaram sir for consenting to give a talk on the development of IPR, more particularly in our country. So I thank once again to all of you for joining us today. After sir finishes his talk, we can have the discussion round where you can ask your own queries, or if you have anything to supplement, you can feel free to add your views also. So thank you once again. Over to you, Meenakshi Sundaram sir.
Yeah, thank you. At the outset, I would like to thank Advocate Advocate Mr. Srinivas, Senior Standing Counsel for Direct and Indirect Taxes, and the organizers by giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my views on the intellectual property right, which is not my day-to-day practice, but I got a passion and I got a doctorate on this subject to know the impact at the point in 2000. I made a lot of visits to various places and stayed in Delhi itself for more than 4 or 5 months and met a lot of people to know what is the consequence and all. But I always get only negative answers to say that what is their intellectual property right? Because nobody answers what is intellectual property right. And I myself was wondering what it is. I am frankly telling, till my professor Dr. Baulu said that this is going to be the burning subject in future, which is going to remove the barrier of sovereignty or anything and other things. So you please study on this subject. That's why I got into it too. Every people fully aware and conscious that there is law on patent, there is law on trademark, there is law on design, and there is law on copyright. But nobody collectively identified these rights as intellectual property right till the 1995, that is the TRIPS comes into existence. Why I am telling specifically is, you read any book till the 1995, even today, all the books and authorities are devoting only a small passage in the front to say that these are all the rights that are collectively called intellectual property right and nothing more. They don't go beyond that. But my endeavor and as to why I am taking up or accepting to give a talk on this is not a small subject where the law alone is to be dealt with. It is a global subject, and I used to call globalization of national laws. As far as this intellectual property rights are concerned, even though I take you to the constitution where the parliament and the legislature have got absolute right to enact laws for the welfare of the people of that country alone. Whereas the intellectual property right and the treaties have dictated what are the provisions of every country, not only India or Pakistan or Malaysia or something like that. All countries who are members of WTO should have laws of similar provision. Similar provision, why I am using the word similar provision, you can have more stringent law, but you can't dilute it. One smallest of small example is, suppose a law says intellectual property is to be protected for 20 years. You can enact municipal law to extend the protection for 25 years, but you can't reduce it to 10 years or 15 years. That is a sea change that happened in the intellectual property region. That is the reason I used to say that the intellectual property law, even though called as national in jurisdiction, are global in nature, and the terms and the provisions of the act are not discussed or adopted by the parliament, but on the other hand, it is dictated by the treaty. Since all of you are lawyers, you know fully aware as to what is the constitutional provision, which I will say a little later. But what is intellectual property right? Why it is gained so much of importance is this. All of you are fully aware that there are only two kinds of property till the 19th century in the beginning. That is, one is called movable property and the other is called immovable property. Those which are attached to the earth is called immovable property. The rest are all called movable property. Only these two properties are identified till the earlier part of the 19th century. And the characteristics of these property or rights are well known in the sense that this property is to be enjoyed by possession only. Unless you possess these movable and immovable property, you can't enjoy the right. Suppose you own a car, you own a shirt, you own a house. All these things you can enjoy by possessing it. And how the right is exercised is by enjoyment on the one hand. On the other, you can tell other people not to touch these properties. And it is exclusively yours. This is how the right is to be exercised. You can't allow others to touch or enjoy the property, and your right is absolute. Whereas further, these properties cannot be expanded and it does not have elasticity. Suppose you got 1 acres of land, even any number of years, even it is transferred from generation to generation, that 1 acre of land will not expand. That 1 acre will always be consistent and it cannot be expanded. And on the other hand, can you exhaust this 1 acres of land? That's also not possible. You can sell it to third party, you can transfer it to some party, but the property will be in existence. It cannot be destroyed also. Then the enjoyment is again the place where the property is alone you can enjoy it. These are all the peculiar or the regular features of movable and immovable property, which is known to the people at large throughout the world. As far as the intellectual property is concerned, it is not something that is new that came into existence in the latest part or anything. It is very much available even in 18th century also. There are treaties which are entered into by member countries. One is called Paris Convention, which deals with the patent, trademark, and design act. These three rights were consolidated under the Paris Convention and it was dealt with. It is 1883 and 1886 Berne Convention was there, which deals with mainly copyright and other allied rights in respect of those areas only. Till the TRIPS come into existence, the world at large knows only these four rights, and first three rights, that is patent, design, and trademark, is collectively called industrial property, and it is coupled with copyright is called intellectual property. Only these four rights are available in vogue till the TRIPS comes into existence. Then to know the history, how these things are happening, how the importance is gained. As you all aware that there are two world wars that happened before 1950. After the two world wars, the effect of the developed countries, leave alone developing countries, because I am giving more prominence to the developed countries because it is they who are reason or cause or effort for these rights that come into existence at the present status. That's the reason the topic itself I said my views on intellectual property right in developing countries only, not on developed countries, because developed countries are already enjoying absolute right in respect of these intellectual property rights. So once these two world wars happened, there are great depression, there are unemployment, there is huge unutilized capacity, and there is want of money. Every country, that is especially the developed countries, where don't know what to do with the poverty and other things that is stuck in their countries. At that time, they all met along with the developing countries also to find ways and means as to how to get over all these things. At that point of time, all these countries together, they formed an opinion that the general agreement or trade and other things should be, tariff should be dealt with commonly for the benefit of all the people together. And the notion that is coming now as one nation, one world, and all those things were considered at that time itself. And in 1947, a general agreement on tariff and trade was developed, and they gave rise to three institutions. One is the World Bank, the other is International Monetary Fund, and the third one is called International Trade Organization. These three organizations were considered for the purpose of tide over the difficulties that is faced in economic front. On the other hand, the exploitation of the wealth and other things that is available at the unutilized stage. These things were approved mostly, I think, out of 126 countries or no more than 220 countries have approved all the three organizations, and it was sent to United States for approval. In United States, there is a peculiar procedure that is there is, it is the Senate that is to approve, only then it can be made as a law. When it was put to the Senate considering all these things, and they found that the establishment of International Monetary Fund and the World Bank is to their advantage. I can only say it is beneficial to them, and therefore they agreed. With regard to the International Trade Organization, they found that they are at the beginning of the industrial development and other field of activities, and therefore they thought that it is too early to come to an agreement with 130 countries, so that what you think will be the law, not only for you, but 130 countries. And therefore, they rejected the proposal of establishing the International Trade Organization. So, in effect, only two organs were established, that is World Bank and International Monetary Fund. The International Trade Organization was not established. In effect, the agreement that is popularly known as General Agreement on Tariff and Trade did not come into existence. But member countries, they negotiating between individual bilateral and multilateral ways by which they regulated the tariff and trade among the nations at a lower level. As far as the industrial development is concerned, America, as it is using now also, that special provision under 301 and other draconian law, they were dictating terms of the developing and other countries, and they were carrying on the business and other things. As they developed well, around 1982-83, mainly according to my this understanding, subject to right or wrong, the pharmaceutical sector in United States of America and other developing countries to some extent, they thought that the invention on pharmaceutical and other things are very costly, and my reason is to maximize the profit. They thought unless they reach the other markets, it will not be possible to maximize the profit. That is in their mind. So coming back, what is this intellectual property right? As I told you about the traditional way of property, the intellectual property is just the opposite. The intellectual property you can feel, but you can't touch and feel it. It is an invention or the creation of a human mind. It is only the intellectual who will come out with some solution for a problem. If the problem is solved, then that idea, the solution is to come in the form of tangible. Suppose if a person is suffering the stomach ache, means if you found some formula of medicine and if you eating it is cured, then that formula is called intellectual property. Similarly, trademark and copyright and design is there. I stopped with for first four only. So the intellectual property right is nothing but a creation of a human mind. It is to be translated in some form for the purpose of satisfying the human need. It is only for this purpose this intellectual property was identified. Even though it is in vogue, as I told you, Paris Convention and Berne Convention, which is very much in existence in 1882 and 1893. And as you all aware that United Nations is coming into existence. In the United Nations, there is one organization called the WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. This is this organization which deals with the intellectual property rights and other things. This organization, being an United Nations organization, has developed one more institute which is called United Nations for Development of Technological Development for the Developing Countries. UNITED is called. See, this organization was looking into or assisting the developing countries for invention and other activities for resolving their problems and other things. When these two organizations are there, the developed countries find it difficult. And one other thing is, as far as the intellectual property is concerned, the more the people use, the value is more. If the people are not using an intellectual property right, the value will come down. And similarly, the intellectual property right being touch and feel only, there is no boundary or there is no place where it alone is available. It can be spread and distributed anywhere you want. There is no boundary at all. Then one important thing is intellectual property right, like traditional law, is it is territorial in nature. Wherever the person exercising or disclosing his knowledge and invention to solve the problem, it is owned and to be recognized only in that particular state and not beyond that. So, as far as intellectual property is concerned, it is only territorial in nature. The more you enjoy, the value of intellectual property will be more. There is huge elasticity. Any number of people can enjoy an intellectual property right. And the most important thing is, unlike the traditional right where positive enjoyment, here intellectual property right is only negative enjoyment. You can ask somebody not to use your knowledge. It is not that you are enjoying the knowledge or not. As I told you, the value of intellectual property depends only if more people enjoying it, not when others are not recognizing it. So this property right depends only if more people are enjoying. Therefore, their negative right is recognized in favor of the person who develop or disclose the invention or the issue that he is solving it. Therefore, the value of intellectual property rights will go up as more and more people are enjoying it or trying to use that one. So by using the negative right that is given to you, you can exploit from others for using your right that is permissive in nature. You can collect money. Therefore, the value will go up if more people are using it. And the one other thing, more important thing is intellectual property are not natural in nature. Natural. It is to be recognized and given by the state. The state is to recognize that this is the intellectual property, right? We are recognizing and we are giving you the right of negative right. That is, you can restrain other people from enjoying this right. Only in that way, this intellectual property right is different from other countries, other rights, that is natural rights and other things. With these things in mind, territorial in nature, negative right, and every country, wherever you can expandable and elasticity is so big, the intellectual property gained value among the industries who are capable of delivering these type of intellectual ideas and solutions for the problem. So the developed countries who are already very rich in pharmaceutical sector and other areas, their invention according to them is very high. But here the question for consideration is, if an American invents something, his exploitation is territorial in nature, then his value addition or the expectation is to be restrained only to America and not beyond that. But here is a case where the intellectual property is so elasticity, so expandable, and the more the people use, the more is the value. Therefore, the developed countries thought that if these rights are properly recognized in developing countries where huge population is there, they can make more money and other benefits will accrue. At that stage, they found the laws in developing countries are not enough to protect the right. That is number one. And according to the developed country, the law in developing countries are weak in nature. Number three, and the most important thing is the law that is available in developing countries in recognizing intellectual property rights is totally different. Because of three reasons, they were wondering in the year 1982. In this place, it's not out of place to say as to what is the status with regard to one particular important act only I am elaborating, not on everything. With regard to the patent law, the available law in India is Patent and Design Act is an English Act, follow-up of English Act in the year 1911. It is in force till the year 1945 or 47. In the year 47, that is after independence and other things, the Indian government has appointed a Deekshant, a Lahore High Court judge, to look into the Patent and Design Act 1911 to suggest ways and means as to how the law is required to be amended, because according to the government, this law is not beneficial for the welfare of the Indian nationals. This Deekshant committee has filed a report for giving certain amendments. By the time these reports were made available and other things, the parliament has gone out. Then after independence, Indian government appointed Rajagopal Iyengar, another High Court judge, to look into these 1911 Patent and Design Act and gives ways and suggestions as to how to go about this law so that it will be beneficial to the people at large, that is Indian people only. Here the importance is, I am stressing because of my topic, the Indian government is considering the patent law from the domestic or municipal point of view only. It considers whether the Patent and Design Act 1911 is beneficial to the people at large in India, whether it is advantageous to continue the same law since we have got independence. See, the Rajagopal Iyengar committee gave a detailed report, and the one important feature is he specifically analyzed the grant of patent is only in respect of product that is manufactured or outcome of the invention and not anything else. So if you want to get an absolute right with regard to the invention must be focused on coming out with a product to solve a problem. Only if the product together solve the problem which was not heard till then, only then the law of patent 1911 grant the patent right to that invention. So Rajagopal Iyengar said that this stringent or the strict implementation of product patent in Indian condition is not beneficial or advantageous, as we are poor country and developing nature. We require a smaller invention is to be recognized. For that purpose, he came out with a new concept which is called process patent. The one and easy reference according to me, I used to tell in any meeting is, suppose if a person wants to go to High Court, you can go in any way and reach the High Court. There are 4 or 5 ways. Say for example, even from Adaya, you can go via Beach Road and you can go via Mount Road and you can go to other area and you can reach also. Then from North Madras you can reach, Central Madras you can reach. All these roads are reaching to the Madras High Court. If you say the product patent, then reaching the High Court is one product. Whether you come through this road or that road or any road, reaching Paris is only one patent, and therefore no other route, the process or the method by which you are reaching the High Court will not be recognized for the purpose of grant of patent. With regard to the pharmaceutical thing, assuming you got a headache, to my knowledge, you know there is tablet for Saridon, Anacin, Metacin, and some paracetamol you are telling. All these tablets, according to everybody's need and other things, you are using for curing the headache. But in the case of product patent, all these 4 tablets cannot claim that they will cure headache, and there is only one tablet that we recognize and the product patent will be given for curing the headache. So this is the law that is in force before 1970, and after 1970, the new Patent Act 1970 was enacted so as to provide that Indian law will provide only process patent and not product patent. This is for the purpose of encouraging the people at large, and the capital requirement that is for invention or entering into invention field does not require more demand, and therefore On this basis, I can say with certainty that because of the process patent regime in India, you have come out and you have seen lot of medicine for a same disease, different type of medicine. And you can say each doctor, even in your own family, if you go to doctor, for one person, the doctor will say you take anacin, for another person, you will take saridone, like that. The reason is we had, because of the process patent, multiplicity of medicines are available. Then one more example is, what is this? How come a multiplicity of medicine can be available for one cure or one disease? The reason is simple. If you want to say for anacin, if a combination of three product is there, 33%, 33%, 33%, then the anacin will come out and it is cured. If some other inventor may think that in a defined circumstances, if a person has got ulcer or some other disease, he can't have this 33% combination. And one particular product which may affect his this thing, stomach and other thing, he will come out saying that 33, 33, 20, 15, 15. So you'll add something else and reduce another 15% less. Thereby his combination is 30, 30, 15, 15. So this is how the medicines were come out with different formulation. One popular thing that is developed country used to say that in India, where the process patent is in vogue, the easiest methodology they are adopting, that is the Indian inventor is using, is a reverse engineering mechanism. Reverse engineering mechanism means, if you want to find a medicine and if you want to come out with a different combination, the only thing that you are required to do is break that medicine and you found in the laboratory as to what are the mixing that is given or what are the raw material that you use for coming out of this medicine. And based on the criteria, if you apply some other formula, as I told you little earlier, a person who has got ulcer cannot use this, and that requires one particular medicine is to be reduced or add something else, then he will come out with a new medicine, and thereby he can go to the patent office and say that this is another process by which I can cure headache, and therefore I am entitled for a patent. The patent authority will grant patent because we recognize only process patent. These type of process patent cannot be obtained beyond India. The reason is, many countries were following product patent regime, and India alone after 1970 gone into process patent. Even to my knowledge, subject to verification, even Pakistan had only product patent. With this background only, the pharmaceutical sector in US influenced the American government that you open up the discussion under the GATT umbrella itself for some other rights also, like service, labor, environment, and investment. All these things were the initial move for coming out with a different concept. In the vague end of convincing the United States government for coming out with the parallel meeting, I should say with respect, because at that time already United Nations is in vogue. Then WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, is functioning. Then UNICTAD, United Nations Technological Development for Developing Countries, are in force. In spite of all these things, these capitalistic influenced the American government, and through America, they represented to the developing and other developed countries like European and other things to state that we should have a different forum to discuss the trade on investment, trade on service, trade on other sector and all, and they added as the intellectual property right. At that time, developing countries like India were opposed to the move of including the intellectual property right in the new trade negotiation and GATT, on the reason that intellectual property right is already administered by another organization, WIPO, which is already under operation working under the United Nations. To get over this issue, the developed countries with particular reference to United Nations and other countries, they come out with a new concept to state that GATT deals with tariff and trade. We also pull out the intellectual property right which deals with only trade. We will not deal with the entire intellectual property right that is under WIPO, but we will deal with those rights that deals with the trade and tariff alone. We will deal with under the new umbrella, which is subsequent to the GATT negotiation. So in 1986, my endeavor is why I said this was the legal fraternity on the one hand, scientists on the other, those who are afford to spare more time, should give or form committees to look into these type of avenues where the individual nations welfare can be taken note of. Only for that purpose, I am giving a bit elaborate to say that the capitalists in developed countries, through the government, have initiated the dialogue in the year 1986, and there are 8 rounds of talk happened, and only in 1994 it took more than 2.5 to 3 years to negotiate on the intellectual property right. And more important, since I gave you a little more elaboration, is only to change the word, that is from process patent to product patent. One of the main endeavor of the entire discussion is to change the grant of patent in respect of invention is only on product basis and not on product process basis, which is in force and which is incorporated in the 1970 Act in India. It is because of this particular change, this intellectual property right paid such a huge phenomenal value. So in 1994, we were forced, or the developed and developing countries, more than 135 countries, agreed. And it doesn't stop with recognizing these rights. They come out with one other organization, which is called Dispute Settlement Body. As you all aware that under the United Nations, International Court of Justice is already functioning. There is International Court of Justice that is functioning under the umbrella of the United Nations. But the developed countries thought it fit that it is advisable to come out totally under a different forum. So they established a new organization for settling dispute between the member countries alone. It is called the Dispute Settlement Body. A separate body was constituted, and another organization was developed, that is World Trade Organization. In the earlier 1950, these countries have developed and come out with the term called International Trade Organization. Now a new name was called as World Trade Organization, which was established. It is more than 70, 80 agreements are there. There are a lot of discussion and more than thousands of papers or agreements were signed by all the developed countries on top. But one of the important treaty or one of the important agreement that changed the whole scenario of the world is intellectual property right, which particular reference to the patent law. Even though other enactment also was made, still the importance is only under patent law because benefit is direct. The benefit to the capitalistic or the benefit to the industrialist are so direct that the effort they put from 82 to 86, they are discussed among themselves. From 82 to 94, through the government of America, they conducted so many meetings. And to say that at one point of time in 94 or 91, a Director General called Dungal was heading. He called for a meeting of all developing countries, and you said that there is no point in keep on discussing for 3 years, 3.5 years. And now this is the draft that I am giving you with respect to intellectual property right. Either you take it or you go without this agreement. There is no question of tinkering or getting suggestion or anything is possible. Either you accept it or you go without it. Only at that stage, since we have moved so far and there is no question of going back, since many of the agreements were agreed upon, the developing countries were thought that going back at that stage of development is not possible. At the same time, they found that it may not be possible to make any suggestion because it was put to them with single word, either take it or go without it. It is under these circumstances December 1994, the treaty that gave rise to World Trade Organization was signed, and the intellectual property right, which is one of the agreement under the TRIPS, came into existence. With this background, I'll tell you what the intention of the legislature in legislating this intellectual property right. What is the concern? See, so far you have come across, I discussed that the object is the people at large, the object is the economy of the country, the object is it should not be prejudicially affect you and other things. That is why the law itself was changed in 1970. There are lot of effort put by developing countries like India to look into analyze all these things and come out with the concept of process patent, and 1990 Act and all was enumerated. Now the new act that came into existence, and not only that, it established an organization parallel to United Nations that is called World Trade Organization. At that time itself, more than 135 countries were in existence, were members country, and thereafter it is increased also. One of the notable countries that joined subsequent to the establishment of World Trade Organization is China. China was only a subsequent joining. It is not part of any of the discussion between 86 to 94 or thereafter also. After the establishment of World Trade Organization, after the establishment of all these agreements was given effect to, only then the China was admitted as a member of World Trade Organization. While implementing the TRIPS agreement, because of the lot of resistance by the developing countries in respect of their adjustment to the local economy or domestic industry, the act itself provided 10 years of time. As far as developing countries like India, they gave 5 years time from 95 to 2000 to change their municipal law and make necessary arrangement in their law and other things. In those countries which are having process patent in their patent law, were permitted to take 5 more years to amend their law, so that after the 10th year, the municipal law of developing countries with particular reference to India and other countries, all developing countries together, all must agree that their patent law, I am giving emphasis more to the patent law because today's environment, everybody is required to look upon why this is happening, what is the discussion we are going on, what is that every day we are reading the newspaper. All these things are only on the patent law, and in future it's only a question of time. You will have a lot of discussion on this subject, but without reference to the provisions of the act and without reference to the intention of the legislation. Since my friend Mr. Swaminathan is there, Mr. Srinivas is there, and all those people are representing the government, please note that this is how it is going to be interpreted in the court of law, wherein the people will be helpless. The reason is, even in the patent law and the bill stage, when it was argued and it was mooted in the Supreme Court said it's only the bill stage. How can we take it up and discuss and give our opinion? Let it come as a law, we will try it. And it becomes a law when the people are challenged. They said, what happened? It's only the parliament who is to look upon the law. Once it is become a law, at the most we can only interpret the law and give a finding. This is how the judiciary is happening, because they can't go beyond that. But only in this area where the advocates at law and bar council and all, they can choose people and form a committee to look upon how this problem is going to be crept in the future, and how the medical people are giving answer, the pharmaceutical sector looking upon the issue regarding the medicine that is going to come, how is to be handled, along with the government. Government is always there, and the controller of patent is there to look upon. As Hamalada the other day pointed out specifically about the particular medicine, cancer disease, the controller of patent in India are very active in this field. They are not only issuing patent, but also enabling the people at large in India to have access to all the knowledge on pharmaceutical sector, all knowledge on technical field, what all the technical areas where there is opening for further invention or further development. All those things they are making it or recording it and they're putting it in the digital form so that anybody who want to make any invention on a particular field, if they approach the website of the controller of patent, they will immediately get the answer as to at what stage that particular technology is standing, from where they will have to start proceeding. All those things are readily available with the controller of patent website, and therefore there are a lot of work they are doing. But as far as the legal and the medico-legal, with the latest term they call it, is possible only if some senior lawyers, that is the bar council and other people, they must take it up as a separate issue, and they must put scientists to work on it as to how this thing going to be claimed in future. It is not necessary that somebody is to claim then fight. And already there are a lot of claims in India with regard to some of the disease and other things. What is the claim of these people? What is the status of these people? See, without getting involved with the claim people, you look upon the merits of the person, and if any demerits is there, how it is to be cured. All those things can be looked upon by the eminent people and an association of people together who should have time and money to spare on this. Otherwise, it's not that easy to look upon all these things. So if you see the TRIPS agreement, what is the object? Because we should know, in spite of all this enumeration, what is the content of the agreement which provides. It says that desiring to reduce distortion and impediments to international trade, and taking into account the need to promote effective and adequate protection of intellectual property rights, and to ensure that measures and procedure to enforce intellectual property rights do not themselves become barriers to legitimate trade. See, here the object is there should be free trade, there should be implementation of intellectual property right. In doing that, suppose if you want to restrict or if you want to define what is intellectual property in your municipal law, it should not stand as a barrier or a distortion or difficulties for the implementation of intellectual property right from the standpoint of World Trade Organization. Here, World Trade Organization is a body. It is looking upon, because these are all the agreements given by them. These TRIPS agreement is a part of the World Trade Organization, and therefore the endeavor or the effort for them is whichever country who are members should implement and give effect to the intellectual property in such a way that trade and implementation of intellectual property that should not be a barrier. There should not be any barrier in your municipal law in recognizing. Here the importance is the recognizing the provisions of the TRIPS in respect of patent law. If you implement in the municipal law, then you should not have difficulty, and you should not say there is difficulty in implementing this law. And it is for that purpose. Then further it says, recognizing the need for a multilateral framework of principles, rules, discipline, dealing with international trade in counterfeit of goods. See, it is only the counterfeit of goods that I told you earlier. That is one product, whereas different people are claiming different name. These things are, according to the developed countries, are counterfeiting. As against one product, you come out with a different product saying that the combination is different, and therefore you are entitled to have a patent right in your municipal law, because your municipal law provides or facilitate the grant of such a patent to such a type of invention, and therefore such of those recognizing the need, recognizing that intellectual property rights are private rights. See, this is the important thing. International treaty, World Trade Organization, where we are all members and we are agreed to give importance to the municipal law, the first and the foremost condition is you have to recognize that intellectual property right is a private right. You cannot say that this private right is subject to national interest, say public interest, all those things you cannot claim. You can have little later, but the first and the foremost under the treaty is it should be recognized as a private right only. Then recognizing the underlying public policy objectives if natural system for the protection of intellectual property, including development and technological objection. These are all things you can have as object, but we have no objection. But you can't touch upon the provisions of the patent law that is recognized as intellectual property right, section 25 to 28, 29 of the patent, that is TRIPS provision. There, as I told you, product patent is given, 20 years time is given, burden of proof is shifted is given. There are many of the provisions are there that you cannot dilute it. You have no right to dilute those incorporation, or that's why I told you in the beginning itself, even though the parliament under Article 72, 253 and other provision, it is the parliament who is in its wisdom to give importance or right in recognizing those rights. Article 254, inconsistency between law made by parliament and laws made by the legislature of the state. So while giving effect to these laws, that is the treaty provision, it is the parliament who is supreme. There is no doubt the international treaty must be given effect to in good faith. Just cogence, we used to call it as just cogence. That is in good faith. When you enter into treaty, you should have good faith to state that we will implement it in our municipal law. That type of good faith should be there when you enter into international treaty. But here the importance is the terms of the provisions is already dictated, and the terms that we are agreeing upon is already inconsistent. But here we have to give effect to it. In doing so, we took a lot of effort with the WTO level, and we argued at length that our country is totally different, and therefore there should be leverage and provision that we should have, while implementing our national law, we should have some amendment to have reservation. After elaborate argument, especially from India representing the developing countries, I can say with certainty that it is India who represent developing countries at the fag end of the discussion and other things. It is they who impress the developed countries. It is not possible for us to admit or accept the intellectual property right, the clauses that you provided as it is in our municipal law, unless and until we add, we have some power or reserve certain power to have or tinker our municipal law without, here I say with respect, without touching upon the condition or the stipulation that is made in the TRIPS provision. After elaborate discussion, I think only the WTO developed countries agreed to add two provisions. One is the objectives. What is the objective of intellectual property right? Why we are agreeing to all these things? They agreed that the protection and enforcement of intellectual property rights should contribute to the promotion of technological innovation and to the transfer and dissemination of technical knowledge to the mutual advantage of producers, that is the inventor, and users of technological knowledge, that is people who are using, that is the industries in India, and the people who are going to exploit. Suppose medicine is coming, it is we who are going to buy a medicine, and in a manner conducive to social and economic welfare and to a balance of rights and obligations. To balance, you have to balance. See, it's not, even though we recognize that it is an individual and a monopolistic and private right, still we have got a right. There is an obligation on their part. The person who is enjoying the right, as we all know fully that the person who is enjoying the right should also have certain obligation, or the person who, see, what is the position? If I gave a negative right means, I am in the case of tangible right, I am not giving you any individual right. If you own a house, you are enjoying the house. As far as intellectual property is concerned, I am binding to you that without your permission, I will not copy your intellectual knowledge. See, once you disclose the knowledge, the basic criteria is the disclosure is to be made to the government that this is my invention. Only then the patent will be granted. So the government on the one hand and the people at large in that particular country gave an undertaking to the inventor who discloses his invention in knowledge that we will not, without your permission, copy or come out with any counterfeiting product or anything. So it is this obligation that we are undertaking. But the obligation the people at large and the government on behalf of the people are taking, it is to be balanced under the Act and that by way of certain other provisions of the Act. Then it further says, what are the principles on which you can exercise the objective? You have the objective that you want to protect your people at large, and you want the technological dissemination is to happen, and your technological people should develop and all. What are the basic principles that you should follow? That is the member country to follow, that we are again incorporating it. Members may, in formulating or amending their laws and regulation, adopt measures necessary to protect public health and nutrition and to promote the public interest in sectors of vital importance to their socio-economic and technological development, provided that again you can see that such measures are consistent with the provisions of this agreement. See, whatever measures you are taking in the interest of the people at large or socio-economic for your countries at the relevant point of time, you do anything you want, but it should be consistent with the TRIPS provision. What are the TRIPS provision? 20 years period, product patent, the burden of proof on you, that is all these things are the basic condition you can't avoid. Beyond this, you can add anything you want so that you are provided under 7 and 8. Under these two provisions only, you are entitled to do these things to get the right under the act. Now, with regard to the developing countries like India, what best we can do when we gave to these type of rights, that is 20 years. See, originally for food and pharmaceutical, we are granting patent only for 7 years. With regard to other sector, we are providing 14 years. Even in America, till the WTO come into existence, the right for patent is only 18 years. Whereas overnight, it was introduced that 20 years is the period of patent is granted. So all of us have agreed in principle that 20 years is the patent life and it is to be incorporated in our municipal law. Then certain other things are all included. That the important thing is in our patent law, in the preamble, as we are all only lawyers, we normally take the help of the preamble or the first this thing preamble to the act to identify or to know as to how the law is to be interpreted in case of anything vague or anything unspecific or not covered. In these circumstances, we fall upon the preamble to state or to know the object for which or how the law is to be interpreted is to be there. If you look upon the patent law was not amended to incorporate the 7 and 8 objects that I have read. They did not do that. On the other hand, they merely incorporated one separate section, section 83, to state that these are all the objects for which the patent is granted under the Act. We don't touch upon the 20 years of the period. We don't touch upon the product patent. We don't touch upon the burden of proof and other things were shifted in favor of the developing countries, which are general principles applicable to working of the patent invention in India. So we added that without prejudice to the other provisions contained in this Act, in exercising the powers conferred, regard shall be had to the following general conditions or the criteria for the grant of patent in respect of third parties. The patents are granted to encourage invention and to secure that invention are worked in India. See here, we specifically state that the patents are worked in India. Whereas in the TRIPS agreement, we gave an undertaking that importation is equivalent to working of the patent. Suppose if the product is coming into your country to fulfill your requirement, then that importation is equal to working of the patent. Whereas here the criteria is given is that it is to be worked in a fullest extent that is reasonably practicable without undue delay. Without undue delay, once the patent authority, as I told you, it is territorial in nature, controller of patent in India is to grant patent, only then it will be protected in Indian condition. But for the controller granting the patent, no invention is protectable in India. So territory you have to, he is to apply because it is a statutory right given under the Act. So you have to comply the requirement of the Act, then only you will get the right of patent. Then not granted merely to enable patent to enjoy a monopoly for the importation of the patent article. Even though we say that the monopolistic patent right granted is not for the purpose of only to import, but also for other purpose also. With these criteria and other things and all, we came out with a new legislation. And in 2005, that is December 31st, 2004, the Patent Act was radically amended without changing the Act. In all other enactment, a new enactment has come into existence, but Patent Act was not redone or it was readopted. Only amendments were incorporated in a very big way. In 2005, we come out with a huge patent amendment wherein the Patent Act was amended so as to grant only product patent and process patent was outright removed. Then we have further stated that grant of patent in respect of all science and technology, you are eligible under the Indian patent law also. With all these things in mind only, the Patent Act was amended and various provisions were made. As far as the one important amendment that happened, since Adale Novartis case, Amlada was asking, it is about the traditional knowledge that a country like India possesses. This is very important in the sense that this is more important because a country like India, where many diseases were cured by ourselves, it is the community wise the medicines are there. One community people will take one type of medicine, the other community people, all are locally available material only. There is no question of any medicine that comes into existence. The grant of patent, three criteria is important. There should be new invention. It should not be obvious to anybody. Then those inventions should be industrially applicable. See, unless an invention is industrially applicable, it's not beneficial to 135 countries. So there is a precondition that any invention that happens must be industrially usable. Otherwise, there is no use of granting patent. But here, our knowledge, that is traditional knowledge, or our knowledge is abundant in curing many diseases with the locally available material. நம்ம ஊர்ல கிடைக்கிற பொருளை வச்சு அந்தந்த இடத்துல இருக்கிற மனிதர்களுடைய மைண்டுக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி அந்தந்த ஊர்ல டிசீஸை நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா இப்ப பாம்பு கடிச்சதுன்னு சொன்னீங்கன்னா வில்லேஜ்ல யாருமே மருந்து தேடி ஓட மாட்டான். வடக்குன்னு கத்தி எடுத்து அந்த இடத்துல கீழே விடுவான், சப் பண்ணுவான், பிளட் தூக்கி கீழே விட்டுருவான். அவ்வளவுதான், முடிஞ்சிச்சு போயா, எந்திரிச்சு போயான்னுவான். அதே இது டாக்டருக்கு போனீங்கன்னா அந்த இடத்துல கயிறு கட்டி இது பண்ணி தேர் காட் லாட் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ், எல்லா மெடிசன் எல்லாம் கொடுத்து தான் கியூர் பண்ணுவாங்க. திஸ் ஒன் வே ஆஃப் ட்ரீட்டிங் இட். சிமிலர்லி ஏதாவது ஒரு வயிற்று வலிதுன்னா தே கிவ் சம் இலைய அரைச்சு கொடுப்பான். ஈவன் நீங்க புத்தூர் கட்டு வந்து சோ பாப்புலர், ஈவன் கட்டானவன் உடஞ்சி போனவன்னா இவட கம்மக்கிறாது, அவன் திருப்பி அந்த இடத்தையே உடச்சி இதுல உலக்கையில உருட்டி தென் அவன் ஒரு மாவு கட்டு போட்டு விடுறான். இட் இஸ் பிகமிங் கியூர்டு. டாக்டர்ஸ் கைவிட்டது அவன் பண்றான், கியூர் பண்றான்னு அவன் என்ன இலை இது பண்றாங்கிறது கிடையாது. அவன் வந்து இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் அப்ளிகேஷன்ல எந்த இலையும் தயாரிக்கிறது கிடையாது. மேன்மேட் இதில் தான் அவன் தயாரிக்கிறான். அந்த இலையில தான் அந்த இடத்துல பண்றாங்க. அதே இது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இன்னொரு ஊர்ல இந்த மாதிரி பண்றாங்க. There are so many avenues are there where this type of medicine is coming for curing the disease at the particular place. This we call it as popularly traditional knowledge. So taking into account, as I read the 7 and 8, which provides that you have got mechanism, socio-economic and technological this thing available locally and all, we have come out with an amendment, section 3D, which specifically states that section 3 we got a full provision where 10 to 12 enumeration we have made. It said that even though your invention is satisfied all the criteria of section 5, still it is not patentable in India if any of the classes that is available in section 3 is hit or attracted. So here is a case where a medicine was formulated by Novartis and which will cure the disease of cancer patient and everything. Normally in Indian generic medicine were readily available, which costs only 100 rupees or something like that. At that time, these people have come out with the medicine for assuming 5,000 like that, very high rate because of the cost of invention and the time they are taken for inventing, and the chance of their claim for curing and other things were more, and therefore more people are willing to go for those medicines. Taking into account all these things, they went to the controller of patent for grant of patent. The controller of patent said that this is a known substance of a knowledge and therefore we cannot give you patent, because 3D specifically states that this type of thing is whether it is made out of Clivic in India. The controller of patent refused to give patent because it is nothing but a beta crystallative from imatinib miscibilum. It is the medicine that is substance of a particular medicine that is already in vogue. So the controller of patent state that whatever your claim of invention, as far as section 3D is concerned, if any new use is found from the substance or any substance which is used for a new purpose, no patent will be granted. Therefore, the controller of patent rejected it on the sole ground that it is not possible. And thereafter, the company went directly to the Supreme Court on twofold. One is they challenged that 3D As I told you earlier, the TRIPS agreement specifically provide that you can have anything in your municipal law, but those municipal law provisions should not be inconsistent to the implementation of the TRIPS provision. Since the TRIPS provision specifically states that any invention in respect of science and technology is eligible for patent, and therefore patent is to be granted, so you must grant patent. This is a science and technology. As far as the controller patent is concerned, he submitted that even though whatever your claim in respect of the invention, according to me, this is only a new use of a known substance, and therefore 3D is specifically under the Indian Patent Act, which controls my power of granting patent, and therefore I cannot recognize your invention as a patentable invention, reading together section 3D of the Act, and therefore he rejected it. Therefore, Novartis went to the Supreme Court on two writ petitions. One is challenge the very provision of 3D to state that it is inconsistent with the TRIPS provision, and therefore it is void and unenforceable. And number two is, since the controller patent accept that this is an invention and it is only not patentable because of 3D, if 3D goes, automatically I am eligible for grant of patent. In these two counts, they went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court, to start with, they dealt with section 3D of the writ petition, and they state that if 3D goes, automatically you are entitled, and therefore let us see the fate of or the merits of 3D, and thereafter they will take the next writ petition. Then they first took up the 3D writ petition, and they found that 3D is a valid provision and it is not inconsistent with the provision of the TRIPS, therefore, because already there is traditional knowledge that is not allowed to be patent in India because it is obvious. And here the drug that you are claiming or the substance that you are claiming is a known substance. Only additional usage you are claiming, and therefore you are not eligible for patent, and therefore on the second count also the application was rejected. Therefore the 3D is one of the important provision which always come in hand. In any pharmaceutical writ petition, if you want to contest, you have to invoke section 3D, and only through 3D the chance of success will be better against any new medicine that is advocated or introduced into Indian scenario and all these things. Before I conclude, I think I took that time. My only thing is that is somewhere I read is today's world is divided not by ideology but by technology. The world has shrunk to a global village called WTO, and the poor have no consumer power, so the market has failed. The logic, he who can't pay dies, should not happen. If so, the encouragement and incentive given to these IPRs failed the world poor. The reason why this statement was given, United States and European pharmaceutical industries have invested United $827 billion per year in respect of research for longevity of life. A person who lives already 60 years, 70 years, they come out with new invention to prolong it. That's why nowadays in our country, we all live more than 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, and we are reaching 100 years. As some people used to say 100th century, and all these things are happening because 827 billions of money is invested by the developing countries only for the purpose of longevity of the people who are already having long life. Then another reason is, I'm sorry whether right or wrong, I noted it. It is only to grow hair and relieve impotence. That's what I noted it. I'm not sure. These are all the areas where the science and technology and the invention were developed countries were spent. And some of the areas, I to say, you all would have come across some 15 years ago, HIV was very grave in South Africa. At that time, Nelson Mandela was the president of the country. He said that generic drugs are available in India. Why don't you import and help the people at large to cure the disease? People are dying every day because of that HIV disease. At that time, he was advised by the government mechanism that since we are party to these treaties and we are ready to agree to the product patent and all, we can't import generic drug because already there is a patent in respect to this disease and the medicine is available. People can buy and use it. Then Nelson Mandela said the price is very high. Our people are not affordable. So what is the point? They said we can't help it. Then Nelson Mandela said that I will come out with a constitutional amendment. If I am not able to pursue this constitutional amendment and save my people at large, there is no point in me be the president of the country. And then the amendment was made. You won't believe there are 6 pharmaceutical companies that filed writ petition before the Supreme Court of South Africa. And they argued that in view of the patent law that provides patent only, importation through generic drug and meeting the people's need is not possible. And it is slightly hit the provisions of the patent law and infringement. And especially this is happening in the government also. It so happened, I am given to understand that particular day when the judgment is to be delivered, there is a note that all the people who are going to the court should wear the save from this thing or some wording in the banyan to be wear. And to the shock and surprise, even the judges were wearing that banyan and Nelson Mandela was wearing the banyan. And the writ petition was withdrawn by all the developed with the 6 pharmaceutical companies. These are all the things that is happening in the developing countries in respect of the pharmaceutical sector, and we are obliged to give effect to the TRIPS provision, but subject to what is the role of the government in improving the technological invention and other things. We all know that in Indian government have translated more than 3,000 Malayalam and other mantras with deals with medicine from Quran they converted into recorded it. Then they engaged people to visit all the traditional places where they ask them what is the medicine you are giving, how you are curing the disease. They are recording all those things and they make it in the digital form for the people at large who want to get into any invention and other things. These are all the areas we have to look upon. To want to help the government at large to establish a data bank. As you all know that the basmati rice, neem, turmeric, all these things you would have read all in newspaper that this is happened to America, that is not properly protected, and all those things you will be talking. But the fact remains, how the patents are granted in other countries, how the patents are granted in our country is totally different. As far as our country is concerned, we have got lot of checks and balances before a patent is granted. If a person file an application for patent, the Indian Act provides opposition to all the Indian citizens at large. Any person can oppose the grant of patent. The moment a person is filed an application under section 25(1), he can file a petition directly to the controller stating that this patent is not valid because the invention is obvious, the invention is not new, the invention is already in vogue and we are using it under prior art or anticipated. This medicine we are using from this, as you said about the Novartis case, this medicine you can anticipate that medicine, so no new invention is involved, therefore no thing will be done. Once it passed through the 1 year time and if the controller notified, then under section 25(2), again post grant opposition, another time is given for the people at large who are interested that this patent should not be in existence, therefore it should be struck down. See, as long as the patent is in force, that entire 20 years, anybody who got knowledge that it is hit by anticipation, prior knowledge, traditional knowledge, or any omission is happened, then the court has got the obligation to hear those applications and decide the matter. Above that, the government has got mechanism under the compulsory licensing under section 82 and other provisions, wherein if the patent is not worked in India, they can ask for it. If the patent is not useful or abused, they can ask for the invention, give the compensation. And in the case of emergency, that is very, very important because section 92, which provide emergency, they newly coined the word section 92, which specifically state that emergent circumstances, the government suo motu can take the invention because as you all aware, I told you in the beginning, I think I made it very clear, the grant of patent based on the disclosure you made. So once the disclosure is there, any person who is similarly situated, if you give the invention to him with the government approval, he can come out with the medicine and that medicine the government can supply to the people for the usage, you will understand why I am giving these two things as an important and the final these things. These are all the ways and means. On the one hand, we are bound by the treaties and we have to give effect to the municipal law, which is global in nature. There is no patent, global patent, there is no world patent, but the law and the terms of the law is global in nature because of these reasons only. That's the reason in the beginning itself I was telling you, globalization of national law, in spite of the constitutional provision, because of these establishment, we are bound to do all these things. With this, I feel I did some justice to our friends and I conclude. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. It was indeed a very learning experience for all of us on this new topic today, which is of great importance. Now the floor is for all the participants. If there are any queries or if there are any points to supplement, you can kindly come forward and ask. Mr. Makaranda Prasad. Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Mr. Prasad?
Sir, good evening, sir.
yeah, thank you.
Sir, excellent lecture. Really reminded me of all my IPR classes as well in college. I just wanted to ask your thoughts about compulsory licensing
Yeah.
versus the right of a company which does so much R&D in developing. For example, now if we take a potential cure for COVID-19, if a company invests lots of money and gets a drug, do you think whose right should prevail? Because even public right is important because COVID-19 is a pandemic. So if a government just goes by the route of a compulsory licensing and gets the the recipe for the drug directly, the company's rights will be at a loss. So how do you think we should balance this?
Yeah, thank you. See, the importance is with regard to the patent law, it is a monopolistic right granted by the state to an inventor who comes first. The person who comes first only is eligible to get a patent right. That grant of right is monopolistic in nature, nobody can interfere. As you rightly said, that is the reason I touched more upon these areas. And now there are a lot of companies and lot of individuals on the one hand claim that they have come out with a medicine. On the other, some people say that this medicine already curing the disease. But the fact remains, nobody knows what this corona is really. See, India is concerned, we are at the closed door for more than 5 months. From where the disease is coming through, what it is coming, we don't know. But important VIPs, just for example only, who got struck is not able to come out. At the same time, we are reading in newspaper that there are places where we are running shelters where 300 people, 400 people who are coming with these symptoms are getting cured and going out. These things are claimed on the one hand. As you rightly said, some of the pharmaceutical company are in the job of getting into this invention. On the other, from developed countries, because you should give more prominence to the developed countries because they are fully conscious. On the one hand, I'll tell you my experience. On the one hand, the scientists are working on the invention. On the other, the legal fraternity is working on the application for patent. Both are going parallel. It's not as if an easy task for to file a patent application for grant of patent. It is more like a 100-meter race only. The person who reach first alone is eligible for a patent. I will tell you because you asked this one. There is an organization in a European country. Their only job is do invention or important areas and disclose the invention. They don't reach the finality, they will disclose the invention. Suppose assuming you are doing some 80% of the job on a particular field, if he is able to make even 70%, he will disclose that 70% in the public domain. Once it is gone to public domain, your 70% of the effort is a waste. See, developed countries, a particular state, is doing it. It's an organization by itself, disclosure of inventory materials. They are doing it. So all these people who are doing it, the first and the foremost requirement is inventive step. See, these companies, when they claim that I am coming out, I am in the process of invention, should come out with a statistic that what is the inventive step they are taking. That is why Indian law section 3 specifically state that mere mixing of known component, mere assimilating the characters of some of the product which is differently available in the market will not give rise to a new product or a patentable invention. It may come out with a new product, there is no doubt about it, but it will not be an invention eligible for patent. So whatever is doing the job, they have to come out when they file the application for patent. A diary is to be produced to show that what is the inventive step involved. That's why you would have come across in foreign journal, they'll say, we have taken 100 human samples, we have taken this samples, the process is going on, out of 80 people are working. All those things they are disclosing only to satisfy the requirement of the provisions of the patent law, state that there is an inventive step, there is a possibility for industrial application, and therefore they are in the race for claiming patent. See, the ambiguity is only when you go to the patent office and file an application for grant of patent, only you will get into all these things. Without going to the patent office, as I told you little earlier, பாம்பு கடிக்கு வந்து ஒருத்தன் கையை அந்த இதை கட் பண்ணி டக்குன்னு சப் பண்ணி எடுத்துறான். நோபடி கேன் ஸ்டாப் இன். பாம்பு கடிக்கு மருந்து கண்டுபிடிச்சாச்சு, நீ அதை யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாதுன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. அதே மாதிரி பீப்புள் ஆர் டூயிங் வர்மக்கலை, டூயிங் மசாஜ், தென் புத்தூர் இஸ் டூயிங் சம் திஸ் திங். All these things are permissible, and the criteria is they cannot go to the patent office to claim that this is my invention, I am eligible for patent. Only in that area you are handicapped. Otherwise, even according to your now the present statistics, you see Kerala, earlier they claimed the entire thing they eradicated. In Tamil Nadu, there are number of places where government is running a shelter. People are going there with less symptom and getting cured with a known medicine. You know, the 2-3 drugs that is in all this thing is available. If they take it in a regular basis and a defined condition, you are getting cured. It is not without any right to claim, but the claim per claim patent alone, you will be handicapped.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would call upon Mr. APS sir to kindly tell a few words, and thereafter Swaminathan sir.
Sir, it was a very thorough and useful lecture, sir. As you said in your opening remarks, being a lawyer practicing in income tax side, out of your own volition and passion, you have pursued this study. You have taken a lot of pain to acquire this knowledge. So that's all I can able to understand from your speech. It was a very structured speech. You thoroughly taken what all are the intellectual property rights. It is divided into 4 parts: trademark, patent, copyright, and design, and they are collectively called as intellectual property.
Another 4 is there. I didn't touch it.
Oh,
because the time will be, because the too much time. Already I crossed my
understand how the IMF and other agencies have come, and why the WTO could not, International Trade Organization could not come. So everything is well explained. It was a very useful lecture, sir. I thank you, sir. I have no questions. It was a very informative lecture.
But more this thing only, that the person who asked the question will be the issue that will come to court.
Yes, it's all are new things to us, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I request Swaminathan sir to kindly.
On behalf of the Madras Tax Bar, I thank Mr. R. Meenakshi Sundaram sir for taking us to a wonderful subject. நான் இன்ஃபேக்ட் வந்து இன்டெலெக்சுவல் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டினா வந்து என்னமோ நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன். இட்ஸ் ராங் நோஷன்ஸ். இன்னைக்கு அவர் எடுத்த எல்லாமே வந்து ப்ராடக்ட், ப்ராசஸ், பாரிஸ் கார்னர். He has taken the way in which the how it should be dealt in a different manner. And we have thought only this is the way how to proceed and think. You have taken about to GATT, BEPS, agreements, how it is having the impact and all those things. Wonderful session, sir. Definitely it is a very good. And in fact, you are the in fact, you have done your PhD on that subject. We came to know about. Definitely, you should be an authority on that subject, sir. Absolutely, we expect more topics from your end on this issue, sir. Thank you so much. On behalf of the participants, on behalf of the Madras Tax Bar, we thank you so much for this enlightening.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swaminathan sir and APS sir. And thanks to all the participants for joining us today on this very interesting topic. And I once again thank Meenakshi Sundaram sir for taking the time out and giving a wonderful talk on intellectual property rights. This session will be uploaded in our YouTube channel as well. You can always catch up if you missed out on this. So thank you once again for joining us. Have a great week ahead. We shall see you in the weekend with our next session. Thank you very much.
Thanks.